Hello, welcome back. It's Fred in the shed. I'm up in the shack, but on this video, it's not radio based, something a little bit different for you. Stick with it, It's high-end car detailing. I had Dal contact me from AvalonKing and he said, Fred, we'd like you to do a review of our Armor Shield 9 high-end ceramic coating. Well, I checked out the website. To be honest, it seemed a little expensive for what I normally do on my channel, and yeah, I ducked him about 3 times and he kept sending an email, said, Fred, we really want you to do this video. So I've agreed to do it. Now this video is going to be nothing like you've seen on these ceramic coating videos. These are normally done in a professional detailing garage, if you like, on very expensive premium cars. You're going to see nothing like that on Fred in the Shed. This is going to be a very, very down-to-earth video. Unfortunately, I cannot afford a premium car. My car is a lot older than that. So the chances are, if you're thinking about detailing your car, you're most likely to have a newer car than me. You're starting in a much better place. Your paint will be newer. It'll be in better condition. So if I can do this to an old car, just think what you can do to your car. The package from AvalonKing, it turned up a few days later. Special international delivery from Germany, no doubt. It's quite special. Now, I've not opened this because I wanted to open this on camera. I've seen on the website what's inside this package. It's certainly a box opening experience and I wanted to share it with you. So let me crack into this. It really is a nice unboxing experience. It feels maybe when you perhaps get your first iPhone, something like that. And let's just crack the lid here. It does come with full instructions, of course. We'll be having a look at those in a minute. And yeah, there it is. How about that for a presentation? It's a small bottle. It isn't a very large bottle. You're going to be using this with care. But there's the little bottle there of Armor Shield 9. It does look like an aftershave to me. Everything you need to apply the coating is provided in the box without going over the top. But you do get handy things like a pack of rubber gloves there, and also a little sticker there. Look at that, AvalonKing, coated by the king. Well, in this case, coated by Fred, a guy in a shed. You do get basic instructions in a box, just to something to get you started. If you go onto the website, there's video link support showing you quite decent detailed videos of how you're going to be applying the product. It's definitely worth taking your time on something like this to get it right. That's the unboxing. Quite a nice experience. Probably not such a nice experience is the car that I'm going to be using to test this product. So let me take you down now, show you the car, and I'll explain the process that I'm going to use to prepare my car for the ceramic coating. This is my winter daily drive. It is a 2008 Seat Ibiza, so it's just over 14 years old as I'm making this video. This has sat in the garage for weeks and weeks, as we've actually had some summer in the UK, not been used, and as you can see there's lots of dust, dirt and grime already all over the paintwork, so I've really got my work cut out here. You're going to be spending a little bit of coin on this product, and to get the best from Armor Shield you really do need to put a little bit in to the preparation. I have watched videos from professional shops. They're using 5, 6, sometimes 7 stages of prep. I'm not quite willing to do that. What I need to do first though is to get all this dust and grime off the car. So just going to use a car shampoo here. Now you don't want to use one that has an added polish. Once I've given it a couple of washes and I'm happy the paint is clean, I'll then go over with a clay bar. This will get rid of any deep grounding dirt. And then my final process will be some polishing compound. I've got 2 grades. I have some G3 because there are a few dodgy stone chips that I've touched in over the years. That needs a little bit of work. And then I'll go across the whole panels with G10. Now I'll be doing this by hand as it's such a small car. If you've got a bigger car, you're probably going to find this easier with an electric polisher. This will take some time, so what I'll do is I'll cut in and out of time lapse to speed the whole thing up. Now that the clay bar's finished, that's got all of the in-ground dirt out of the paint. What I'm left with now is quite a clean panel, but there is a fair bit of micro scratching. 14 years of washing, only hand washing, not in a car wash, but yeah, so it just seems a little bit flat now. So next thing, there's a couple of areas where it's particularly bad. I shall go over that with G3, and then finally I'll finish the whole panel, do this section with G10 finishing comp. That's this section done now in G10. It's quite therapeutic. That G10 gets out a lot of the scratching. There's still a few odd scratches. It is 14-year-old paint. The paint on your car is most likely to be a lot newer than this. If not, let me know in the comments. I'll be interested to know what the age of your car is. Whew. Well, that's my hood panel there, finished with the finishing compound. I'm just going to say at this stage that you've got to allow a decent amount of time to do this properly. This whole panel, which isn't particularly big on the big scheme of things, this has taken me just over 2 hours with the clay barring and then going over the compound. Yes, I'm doing it by hand. You certainly could speed it up if you was using electric polisher, then you risk swirls. So, you know, to do a whole car, whether you could do this whole process in one day, if you're a bit younger and a bit fitter than me, maybe, possibly, or if there's two of you, but you probably want to allow a couple of days to get this right. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Isopro Alcohol. One final stage before we apply the ceramic coating, and that is to completely clear the panel. We want to remove any traces of previous polishing, grease, anything like that. The instructions recommend Isopro Alcohol. Now, if you've got a modern car with modern paint, the clear coat, yeah, it's very, very tough. You shouldn't have any problems with Isopro. My paint is 14.5 years old on this car. I'm a little bit apprehensive to use 100% strength. There might be some micro cracking, some glazing in the clear coat. If I let some of that go through to the colour coat, I know from previous experience it will cause a bleaching, especially on a red car. Likewise, if there's any areas of a car that you know or suspect have been repaired, depending on the standard of the repair and the thickness of the clear coat, I'd be a little bit cautious about putting 100% alcohol on that. So what I'm going to do, this is just me on my old car, I'm going to water this down about 60% isopro, 40% water. I'm using deionized water. I suppose you could use water out of the tap. It might have a little bit of scaling effect. I've got some deionized water, so that's what I'm going to be doing. And that's it on that panel. I shall do it off camera. We're going to give it a wash over with Isopro. I'm not going to do it today because, to be honest, it's a hot day out there and I'm as the lorry goes by, and I'm pretty knackered right now, so I'm going to come back and do that, but it'll be seamless for you. So I'll do that off camera, and then finally we can then put on the ceramic coat. Off camera, I gave the hood panel a couple of good goings over with the 60 and 40 Isopro water mix, and I think this is as clean as I'm ever going to get the paint. And finally, after all that work, I'm now ready to apply the armour shield. Ideally, it's better to apply the coating indoors. If you have to work outdoors, then you don't want to work on a bright sunny day because it will dry too quick. And indoors, you need to keep an eye on temperature. What happens when you put this onto the panel, there'll be a flash point, which hopefully I can show you on camera. And then after that, you buff the product back. Now, my temperature, 18.5 degrees. I'm going to have just over a minute to work to get this evenly coated before I need to polish it. So let me crack on. You're learning with me the first time I've done this, and let's see how I get on. Starting with my hood panel. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm not all that confident with the product at this stage, so I'm going to break this down into 6 easy to handle sections. This will make it a lot easier to get an even coat. I don't want to get any high points, and then with that 1 minute flash point, I can make sure that I'm ready to buff before I move on to the next section. To get started, you need to attach a clean cloth to the applicator sponge. You get 3 cloths in the kit. This has been thought out quite well actually. The sponge itself has a little channel down the side, and you use the supplied black card to push the cloth into the channel
each side, and that stretches it right across the surface face. Gives you a nice even surface to apply the product. Just remember to give the small bottle of Armour Shield a good shake before you use it. The instructions tell you to give the application sponge and cloth a good liberal coating. I used a series of drops and made sure that it was completely saturated. The last thing I wanted was this to dry up halfway through the application process. Applying the coating, it's easier than you think. I was a bit apprehensive, to be honest with you. It goes on like a very thin oil, and the idea is to get a nice even coat. Now the instructions recommend a crosshatch pattern, and that's what I did. Once you've got it coated, you don't want any high spots or any low spots. It will self-level as it cures as long as you've got a nice even coat. As I mentioned earlier, the flash point of the coating, it depends on your ambient temperature. I had just over 1 minute. Once it starts to flash, you get a rainbow effect, a bit like oil on water. And once you see this, you know you're now safe to buff up to a shine. I found that it polished up really easy. This is helped by the very high quality polishing cloth that's supplied in the pack. As well as paintwork, Armour Shield works just as well on plastic, so as the applicator was still wet, I decided to give the light lenses a good going over. Once it flashed, I gave them a quick buff off, and yeah, I was pretty impressed. These lenses are starting to get a little bit faded now as the car's getting older, but it came up really nice. Just going to jump back into time-lapse mode now to keep the video runtime a little bit shorter. So carried on with the hood. No issues to speak of. You just have to remember to keep the application cloth soaked in the product. You don't want it to run out halfway through a section and end up with dry parts, which will mean you'd have to give it a second coat. Even by this last third here, I'd got so confident now with my 1 minute flash time, I was able to coat this in one go. I've admitted the polishing stage because it's repetitive and you've already seen it.
Now that hood is coated with Armour Shield, that will be dust dry within around about an hour in this temperature, and then touch dry probably 3 to 4 hours, but that doesn't mean that the product is cured. It's really important that there's no rain or moisture gets on this for the next 48 hours, so I shall be keeping it in the garage here, and then ideally for the next 4 to 7 days you want to try and keep it dry. What I'm going to do now is spurned on by that amazing finish. I am going to carry on around each panel of the car and do the same process again. Clay bar, polishing compound, and then put on the Armour Shield. Do that off camera because it's going to take me a while because I'm working by hand, but if I achieve that finish on the whole car, it's definitely worth the effort. Once I've done that, I will then contact my bank manager and I'll be taking out a bank loan because this old diesel car needs a tank full of diesel, and the price of diesel and petrol in the UK is astronomical at the moment. Okay, seriously, yeah, we'll be filling it up. There's a little bit of space just around the corner from the filling station where I can park the car, get a nice bright day like today, and I can walk around and have a look at it. I'll give my honest conclusion. It's quite a lot of work, I won't kid you, and it is an expensive product, but boy, oh boy, does it give results. I mean, I just can't look at that. I am absolutely blown away by the finish on that hood. That is just like a mirror. I've never achieved that finish before using waxes, also other ceramic coatings. I am just blown away. Anyway, I'm going to carry on, do it all off camera, so join me at the end and I'll give you my final conclusions.
And here are the finished results, and I've got to say I am very pleased with this Armour Shield. Now, it is a lot of work to get to this stage. It's essential that you do the polishing and the cutting of the paint to remove any scratches, any swirls. It's like anything else, what you get out is what you put in, but the Armour Shield on top with this ultra glossy finish, it certainly is the icing on the cake. This level of deep shine, you can do it with regular polishing, but it takes a lot of time. I'm especially pleased how the plastics came out with the Armour Shield. Even gave them a real nice glossy shine, and they're getting on a bit now. This is not a young car. The bonnet, as you can see, despite its stone chips, very, very shiny, very much like a mirror. And then the front lights as well, the Armour Shield just gave them that very nice glossy finish. So yeah, overall I'm very impressed. I think you get what you pay for with ceramic coating products. I've tried a few in the past. This is certainly by quite some margin the best one that I've tried. Going to bring this review video now to a close. Firstly, I'd like to thank AvalonKing for the opportunity for me to test and review their product. And even though this was a freebie, I hope this has come across as an honest video, because I have tried to be completely honest here. Obviously the car, it's an old car, the paint is certainly not perfect, and if I can get this finish on an old car, I'm sure you've got a far newer car than me and you will get an even better finish, I reckon. Links to buy is in the description, and like I say, thank you for sticking with the video. If it's helpful to you, please give me the thumbs up, but as for now, as always, please take care, and we'll catch you all on the next one.